What's up guys, Ryan here from Gunner, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about the very first guns that I ever bought. Before we get into that, I do have my daughter Harley here, and she's taking a little nap. We went camping over the weekend. It was a lot of fun. I'll show you guys a quick clip of it.
Buddy has almost lit his tail on fire. Buddy has sat there like...
Brody, no.
Yeah, so Buddy has really bad anxiety, so he can't be around other dogs because he like flips out.
We camped at the Mogollon Rim, and we were basically next to the edge of a cliff, which was, like, I was a little nervous, not for me, but for my dogs. I watched them very carefully because obviously I don't want anything bad to happen, but it was a fun experience and the dogs loved it. But yeah, let's get into the video. So I also want to say that yesterday we hit 250 videos in a row on YouTube, and today I'm about to hit 75,000 subscribers. At the time I'm recording this video, I'm like 8 away from 75,000. So thank all of you guys for the support. It's been kind of a crazy year, but it's been fun. Again, I've posted every single day since December 13th, so that's why I was 250 yesterday. Today's 251, and my plan is to do all of 2024 a video a day. After 2024, I still plan on posting often. Like, I don't want to like lose the momentum, but I don't know if one video a day is sustainable for my whole life, so we'll kind of play it by ear when we hit 2025. But that is the plan for this year, is a video a day. And yeah, it's been a lot of work, but it's been fun, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better at it. And yeah, I mean, other than that, if you guys have any video recommendations, I'm always looking for them, so comment down below with any recommendations you might have. But yeah, so I figured, you know, it's kind of a meaningful day. Well, yesterday was kind of meaningful, but I was camping. 250 videos in a row, that's cool. And I was thinking about like kind of what got me started in YouTube and just guns in general. So what got me started in YouTube was I was into guns already, and I would watch a lot of the big channels that are still big channels, like Demolition Ranch, Grand Thumb, T-Rex Arms. There's a variety of channels, but I mean, those are probably the main three I was watching at that time. And I was watching Demolition Ranch's vlog channel, Off the Ranch. And I would say Matt from Demolition Ranch, he's a pretty inspirational guy. He does a lot of his own stuff. I haven't watched his channel recently. Kind of life gets in the way and I can't keep up with following all the videos, but I would basically religiously watch his videos, and he's very much a do-it-yourself kind of guy where, you know, he tries to get things done himself rather than hire someone or just stuff like that, like with all his renovation videos, just everything he does. And it's pretty inspirational. And I don't remember which video it was because this was years ago at this point, but he was talking about, you know, how he got into YouTube or just getting into YouTube in general and let anyone can do it. And I kind of, you know, that stuck with me, and that's where I'm at. So yeah, that's why I started my YouTube channel, but I wasn't very consistent. So I started my channel like December of 2017, wasn't very consistent between 2017 and 2023. I think I got like 60 videos up, but yeah, I always thought I could do better. And it was kind of like one of those New Year's resolutions for 2024. But in my head, I was like, if you're not willing to commit it when you think about it, starting it on New Year's Day, it's not necessarily going to commit you to it. So I started December 13th, and I've just, ever since then, I've been going. So that's kind of where I got my start on the YouTube channel. But where I got started in guns is I've been working at the gun store that I work at since 2014. So I'm about to be 10 years there. And I work at Arizona Firearms here in Arizona. It's an awesome store. We get a lot of used guns in, which is where most of my stuff comes from. But we also deal in new guns too. We get a lot of cool stuff. And yeah, I've just been working there since I was like 18 years old, and I got the bug pretty bad. They always said, you know, if you get one tattoo, you're bound to get a bunch. Well, I got one tattoo in 2014. Still only have the one. When I got my first gun in 2015, you guys have seen how it's gone since then. So I kind of went, I've kind of been going out of control, but it's fun. I really enjoy it. As you guys can tell, guns are like my absolute passion, and I want to work with them for the rest of my life. So that is why I go so hard at it. But yeah, I figured we could talk about the very first guns that kind of got me started in it, because I feel like I made good choices from the beginning. And the very, very first gun that I ever bought was this right here. It did not look like this at the time. I'll show you guys a picture. This is a Daniel Defense V5 that's been modified. So it started out life as a V5 lightweight, which was a 16-inch pencil barrel with a 12-inch slimline quad rail. And that's about it. I've changed damn near everything on this gun, but when I turned 21, I SPR'd it. So I took the pencil barrel 16-inch off, and then I bought Daniel Defense's 12.5-inch barrel. So this is a 12.5-inch barrel, and I chose 12.5 because I had the 10-inch rail on there. And at the time, sorry, my girlfriend's getting home. So at the time I chose to go with a 12.5-inch barrel because I had the 12-inch rail, and I called someone at Daniel Defense at the time, and they didn't mislead me, but they thought that it would work. And the issue is, I mean, it would work, but the issue that I ran into was I wanted to put a suppressor on it. And when running a 12.5-inch barrel with a 12-inch rail, the barrel was sitting too low in it for me to add a muzzle device. So I ended up having to order a 10-inch rail, and that's what I did. So it started out life with a 12-inch version of this slimline quad rail, but I had to change that. That wasn't my goal, but that's okay, I don't mind, and it still looks great. So I changed it to a 12.5-inch barrel and the 10-inch rail, and then I bought my first suppressor, which was this. It's a Silencer Co. Omega 300, and this was the very first suppressor I ever bought and kind of got me the bug and all that. But yeah, it works really well on there. It's pretty quiet for what a 5.56 can is, or this is a 30 cal can, but it's pretty quiet for what a 5.56 can be because it's not a quiet round in general. It's a very fast moving round, but this combination, it shoots like a dream and I really like it. And other than that, it's gone through a couple optic setups, but I have an EOTech EXPS2-2 on here with the G33 magnifier. It's got MBUS Pro flip-up sights. I have to have the front one on backwards because of my light setup here, and it's just easier. Running a Surefire Scout Light Turbo, Viking Tactic Sling. At the time, Daniel Defense did not have their own furniture other than this plastic vertical grip, but this is one of their old ones because it's not rubberized. So they ran a Magpul stock and an A2 grip, swapped it out for a Daniel Defense stock and a BCM grip. I got a Geisley SDC trigger in there, so the Super Dynamic Combat. I got a Radian safety selector and a BCM charging handle. So, I mean, those are the main things I did, and I really like this gun. So again, this was my very first gun. I'm gonna tell you guys what I was debating between. And remember, this is as a 18-year-old kid that did not know anything about guns at that point. And at the store I worked at, there was not a lot of AR guys, or there really wasn't any AR guys. Mostly older coworkers. Some of them were competition shooters and stuff, but they weren't into tactical guns. So I was choosing between this gun, a Daniel Defense, a Rock River LAR Elite with a kind of a half quad rail and a half like just rounded rail. So the back end was rounded and the front end was a quad rail. Some of you guys might know what that is. I still want one of those. I think it's pretty cool. Getting a call, but it's okay. I still want one of those Rock Rivers. I just think they're cool guns. I think they were like $1,200 or $1,300 at the time. The Daniel Defense was like $1,400 or $1,500 at the time, and this is 2014. And then the third option was a Delta AR for about $1,100-ish. And to you gun guys that like know guns, that sounds like an insane amount for a Delta. And you're right, at the time I didn't know. I heard good things about them at the time, but again, I was just going off of like, you know, what is a good AR-15 brand? So that gets you very vague results, and obviously everyone has their opinion. But I ended up deciding on the Daniel Defense because in my head I'm like, okay, I want something with a quad rail. I just always liked the idea of a quad rail, and I wanted to be able to put my own flip-up sights on there. That was the main thing. The Rock River had a built-in front sight and then a rear flip-up sight. The Delton, I don't even remember. It was some type of free-floated Delton model. For you newbies out there, don't buy the Delton for $1,000. They're not worth it. If you buy it for like $500 or less, okay. But if you're looking to spend $1,000 or more on something, just I don't recommend it for that because they don't hold their value. I do not regret buying this. And at the time, I think they were cheaper. This, again, I think was like $1,400 or $1,500. But no one at the store that I worked at ever like knew about Daniel Defense, so that was purely online research, and we never even had one at the store. So I ordered it back in 2014. I picked it up in 2015, so I was like 19 at the time because I did layaway and paid it off. But yeah, the very first thing I did was I bought the Daniel Defense, and I bought a set of MBUS Pro flip-up sights from Magpul. And yeah, I mean, I had it like that, and just over the years, I kind of just decked it out. But yeah, I'm really glad I chose Daniel Defense as my very first gun ever. I don't regret it. I have like 10 of their rifles now, and I really like them. They have great customer service. I know that thing with the barrels, it sounds bad, but it's not bad. Like, someone just didn't, like, if you don't build ARs, right, that was a customer service representative. If you don't build them, I can understand how that could get messed up because, you know, you have a 12-inch rail and a 12.5-inch barrel. You're like, oh, there's a ½ inch sticking out. But yeah, there's just a little bit more. I don't know the exact difference between like the end of the rail to your barrel because your barrel also sinks into your upper receiver a little bit. So there's that perfect amount of play. But I don't fault them for that. They've taken care of me plenty of other times for various things. But yeah, I really like Daniel Defense. Their customer service is great, and it looks amazing, and it shoots like a dream. So yeah, I'm a Daniel Defense fanboy for life, but again, it was my very first gun ever, and I've never had any legitimate problems with them. So I vouch for them. after that, I basically got a few different things. I ended up with another Daniel Defense V9. I ended up with a CMMG Mark 9, which is like a 9mm AR that takes Colt mags. I no longer have either of those two. The CMMG, I don't remember. I think I sold it or traded it towards something. The Daniel Defense V9, I had it pretty decked out with a ACOG and a variety of other things, but I traded that towards my Honey Badger at the time, which I'm glad I did it, because the Honey Badger, I got one of the very first ones that came out, or like the second they were released, so you guys see that on my channel all the time. I'm not opposed to getting rid of guns if it's to get something better. Now, I could never get rid of my very first AR, and I could never get rid of my very first shotgun or my very first handgun, so they're kind of sentimental to me. We'll kind of step out of ARs. This was the very first shotgun I bought, and this one's pretty cool. So years ago, back in like 2015, we used to get police trade-in lots of shotguns all the time. Everything, police trade-in handguns, shotguns, bolt actions, ARs, everything. And we would sell these for like 150 to 200 bucks a piece. And we would get them in lots of 10. So I got this for about 150 bucks. It may have been like 160, 175, but between 150 and 200, I got this Remington 870 Wingmaster. It's pretty clean, like it's got some scuffs on it. It's got some type of number engraved here, 3021. It looks like they did it with a nail, but I know different departments do different things. But yeah, beautiful shotgun. Kind of reminds me of like anything from video games like Resident Evil, stuff like that. And shoots great. It's only rated for 2 3/4 inch shells, but I have a bunch of 870s now. But this is the very first shotgun I ever bought for sub 200 bucks. And I miss getting those police trade-in lots of shotguns. You can still get them nowadays, I think, but you're gonna pay like 300-400 bucks a shotgun. But just back in the day, you know, 2015, you could get these for sub 200 bucks all day long. So I'm at a point where I have a few different police trade-in Remington 870s, but yeah, I just kind of miss seeing those lots of them come in. If you guys know departments that want to sell their police trade-in lots, our store does buy them occasionally, but it's just not as prevalent as before. So yeah, this is my very first shotgun, Remington 870. They shoot great, and I've never had any issues with any of them. So I have a backpack 870 that's made by Serbu, so it's the little Serbu Super Shorty. That's built on an 870, it runs great. But yeah, I really like them, and I think it's a great shotgun. So that was my very first shotgun. And then handgun-wise, I'm gonna show you two here. And the reason is, technically I got this one first, which you guys saw in that picture. This is a Colt 1911, and I got this from my dad, who got this from my grandpa. So it's kind of been passed down. My dad and my grandpa are still alive, but yeah, this one's pretty cool. So it's a Colt 70 series government, and when I got it, it had Pachmeyer grips on there, which a lot of people hate, but people that like were shooting competitions back in the day, they would run Pachmeyers. Like my grandpa was a really good competition shooter. Unfortunately, I don't have any videos or pictures of him shooting, but I've seen all his medals at his house, and yeah, apparently he was really good in the 80s, and that's coming from a man that moved from Hong Kong to America in the 80s and became a competition shooter, which is really cool to me, because guns in Chinese culture is not really a thing that I know of, so it's not popular there, but in America it is. And honestly, a lot of Asians do like buying guns when they move here. So yeah, my grandpa was one of those people. They moved here in the 80s. He got really big into guns. He actually still has some really cool guns. He has a 20-inch Colt H-bar that I've been asking to buy off him or trade for him for years, so he hasn't decided to yet. But yeah, my dad got this from my grandpa, and then I ended up trading my dad for this. It wasn't given to me. I traded my dad snakes. I also come from a family that breeds reptiles for a living. I used to breed snakes and sell them for money, which that's a whole market in itself. But right now, I don't really breed any reptiles on the side. But yeah, sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. But I traded my dad for this Colt, so technically this was the very first handgun I ever bought, but I'm not going to count it. I have a different one that I'm going to show you. But this is really cool. So I sourced some actual Colt wood grips on here. We had a box come through our store years ago that isn't marked, so I mean, it doesn't have any label. But it's for a 1911. It's got the 70 series manual in here. So I sourced the grips and I sourced this box, and now it looks a lot better. It still doesn't have the original sights on here. It has some aftermarket sights, and then I think the guide rod is aftermarket as well, but it shoots good. I like it, but it definitely looks 10 times better with actual Colt grips than the Pachmeyer grips that were on there. So yeah, this was technically the first pistol I ever bought. And on a side note, there was a point in time in my life, you know, years ago, where I was actually trying to sell this, and I was open to like trading it for cooler tactical guns. I'm really happy that didn't happen, because at the time I was like, you know what, I can live without it, and you know, there's other cool guns that I want. And I wasn't shooting it that much at the time. I still don't shoot it that much because now I have other 1911s, but I'm actually really glad that nobody ever bought it and I never sold it or traded it, because now it's just kind of cool to say, you know, I have a gun that was my grandpa's, was my dad's, and is now mine. So this is going to stay with me for a long time. With that being said, though, I work in a gun store where we buy gun collections. It's tough because I don't think I want to have all my guns as I die, like assuming I live a long time, right? Like if I know I'm like 5 years away from death, or I'm getting really old to the point where I can't shoot anymore, I think I would try to sell my gun collection, because there's a lot of times where these families sell us their, you know, fathers or grandfathers or whoever's collection, and it's kind of a weird cycle, right? You have someone like me, or a variety of us, that build up, or we spend our entire lives building up a massive collection, and then when we die, the family sells it, and then it gets dispersed across to other people like us again. And then it's kind of a repetitive cycle. I think I just want to not be in that cycle when I die. So, random topic, but yeah, I want to enjoy the guns for as long as I can. But then at some point, like we have some of these older guys that have come in over the years, and they've had like major paydays, you know, where they've acquired a big gun collection or over the time of their life, and then they sell it, and now they have like 50 to 100 grand to go, you know, explore the world and stuff. So I think that'd be kind of cool if I, you know that I'm going to live a long time. I think I would want to do that. That way, it's not left to my family, you know, trying to figure out how to sell it all, because I know I'm going to make their lives hell if I die and I leave all this to them. So, with that being said, this is the very first handgun I actually considered that I bought. This is a Glock 34, and this one's really cool. I bought it because of the movie John Wick, but not the second one where he actually used a 34. The first movie came out in like 2014, and I bought this in like 2015-ish. Watching the first John Wick, seeing him rock a P30L, I'm like, oh, I want a gun that's kind of like that. I could have bought a P30L, but I was like, you know what? I want a Glock. The 34 looks like something John Wick would carry. And then in the second movie, he did. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, this is a Glock 34 Gen 4. It's basically bone stock, other than I added a Trijicon RMR. I had a Streamlight TLR1 on there for a long time, and then I went with the X300. And it shoots good. For the longest time, this was like my competition pistol. I wasn't doing anything crazy. It was just like normal weekday matches. But when I got my Shadow Systems, if you guys watch my channel, I shoot that the most now, because I shoot it better than a Glock 34. But I still really like it. It's fun to shoot. It's just not my best shooting handgun to me anymore, so that's why I run my Shadow Systems. But it's a gun that I'll also still keep forever. And what's funny is when I got this, I don't know, I think I got this sometime in like 2015, and I couldn't conceal carry it until like I was 21. But when I could conceal carry this, I would conceal carry it in gym shorts, because I didn't get out of the gym short phase until I was like in my early 20s. So yeah, I always told people, I'm like, yeah, you can carry anything. I carried this in gym shorts for a year or so. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. But they shoot good. I like it. I really like Glock. I have a bunch of them, but again, I shoot my Shadow Systems better, so that's why I run that. But these are the very first guns that I consider that I bought. You know, my Daniel Defense for my rifle, my 870 for my shotgun, and then this Glock for my handgun, besides the Colt, because, you know, yeah. But I thought these were cool, and I'm really glad that I saved up for them over time, because basically all of them I did layaway on. I didn't just buy it for instant gratification. Like this one, I think I just paid outright because it was under 200 bucks. But this one, I know I did layaway. Same thing with this one. And I think it's good to like save up to get what you want versus just buying something to have something, because there's a lot of times where I see first-time gun owners come in, or first-time buyers, and they just want something like right then and there, and they buy something and then they'll come back later and they just don't like it. And I think it's worth it to save up for decent stuff. And I feel like I've always done that. And once you do it a couple times, it becomes fairly easy, in your mind at least, to kind of save up for nicer stuff. So I don't know where I'm going with that, but yeah, just save up for good quality stuff and you won't be disappointed. Again, I'm very happy that I bought my Daniel Defense. 870 is nice, and so is my Glock. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. At the time you're watching this, hopefully I'm at 75,000 subscribers now. And then, yeah, thank you guys for all the support this year. It's been a lot of fun, and still got a few more months for 2024. So comment down below with some video ideas. And yeah, stay tuned for my next video.